This is Camnet News. Thank you so much for choosing us. My name is Sharon Kalimbula. The top stories on our desk this evening: former Patriotic Front Secretary General Davis MWILA probed in connection with stolen state property. Opposition political parties team up to scrutinize the UPND administration. Government urged to states a clear roadmap on economic recovery. In international news, Burkina Faso's president has been detained in an apparent military coup. And in sports, COMOROS keeper Ali AHAMADA out of the last 16 tie despite negative COVID test.
From 31st January to 6 February 2022, Zambia's spiritual atmosphere will take a paradigm shift. The Bible says, "Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord."
Zambia, a nation under God conference
will be starting at 20:45 hours
to 22:30 hours.
Live on Camnet TV channel 274 on DSTV, GoTV channel 98 and Topstar channel 106.
Speakers will be
Bishop Stanley Simnyola, Grace Ministries;
Dr. Nevas Mumba, Victory Ministries;
Apostle Michael Mutemwa from South Africa;
Bishop Nelly Chikwanda, New Life Christian Center;
Apostle Rick Kamwanga, Risen Life Church International;
Bishop Joy Makando, Bread of Life;
Bishop Alex Mwami of Holy Ghost Firehouse from South Africa, and your hosts, Pastors Victoria and Moses Chilua.
Camnet Television,
not just another channel. Camnet TV is becoming big and better. You can now watch Camnet TV wherever you are around the world, simply by downloading the Camnet TV app. With Camnet TV app, you only use less bundles. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Once again, thank you for choosing us. The news in detail. Legacy-minded Men Zambia founder Bishop Davis Banda has implored government and stakeholders to find a lasting solution to helping street kids in Lusaka. Speaking when he visited street kids and shared a meal with them in celebration of his 55th birthday at Lusaka main post office area, Bishop Banda says street kids deserve to be loved and provided for regardless of their situation. And one of the street kids lamented that affording a decent meal on the street is almost impossible, appealing to many more well-wishers to come to their aid. Details in this report.
They sang songs of joy knowing that a decent meal was on its way to excite their salivary glands. These are over 200 street kids found under the bridge at the postal service in Lusaka's central business who spent most of their time asking for alms from well-wishers to enable them have a decent meal. The story today was different for these kids after legacy-minded Men Zambia founder Bishop Davis Banda decided to celebrate his 55th birthday with the kids and shared a meal with them.
You know, these are the children who are in the street right here. It's just God who is taking care of them. A normal person to come and stay here for a long time, he can't stay even for not even a week. It will be no more. But look at here. The children are here because God is taking care of them.
Bishop Banda has since called on the government and other stakeholders to find a lasting solution to help most of the street kids.
The reason why we are here, we are trying to show also even the government to say there is people down here. There is life down here which is suffering, which is struggling every day. We want the government to come in and do something. And also the government should work also with the organizations which are also collaborating with these children.
And one of the kids who spoke to this reporter has explained that vulnerability has been a leading cause to most children finding themselves on the streets, and says having a decent meal is one of the most difficult things, and has called on the public to consider them in any way possible.
So manje laire matetera kuhunga ukuno mugugu kwari bamapoto ukuno mukutore kana bachi kapine tukabonza bachi kwata pene paino tubachi twashire maso staff mine kapi matreni ero twashire na papene potori bambi bafuma sana mwamisi umwine.
What then does the future hold for these kids under the new Dawn government? Prudence Chota reporting for Camnet TV News.
An aged woman of Lusaka West area in Kasope, Tisatenji Banda, who has been living alone in a shack, has received help from government through the office of the area councillor. A check by Camnet News revealed that the woman had been assisted with a tent, a blanket, memo and other household items, all valued at 1,200 kwacha. The area councillor says the help she has received is temporary, as there are intentions to build her a permanent home once land is identified. Zipporah Mushala has been tracking the story this far.
After over 3 years of living in this shack, come rain or shine, Tisatenji Banda, an old woman of Kasupe area in Lusaka West, has finally received help after her story was aired on Camnet News. She has been living in this shack after allegedly being abandoned by her family on witchcraft allegations. The old woman, who only remembers that she was born during the time of Hari Mwanga Nkumbula, was at the verge of death, especially after the onset of the rain season, due to her asthmatic condition. Her story, however, caught the attention of civic leaders within Chilanga district, among them the district commissioner and the area councillor, who began organizing help for her. Kasupe ward councillor Mr. Tungenengene Chinoya says the woman has been assisted with a tent, blankets, meal which will be given on a monthly basis, as well as other items valued at about 1,200 kwacha. He asked that the community also contributed a separate amount of 600 kwacha, while stating that the tent is only temporal as they try to find her permanent residence.
This is not a permanent solution per se. It is just a solution in the interim, because we need to get hold of family members to ascertain the true ownership of this land so that we can build a house, also a toilet. But as also when we engage family members, we need to see how best we can look after her, either to take her to the old-aged home in Matero. Before even doing that, she needs to go for a review so that we are certain how bad the asthma is.
The old woman has expressed her gratitude.
yanika mwala mabu paliye chininga kambi nenongonga kuti zikomo kwambiri akansera niwonga zikomo kwa kansera niwonga zikomo kwa boma amenso wa kansera paliye paliposi muninga pyolere mkuonga nongoti zikomo onse.
The councillor further says she has been registered for social cash transfer and will be receiving a monthly allowance. Zipporah Mushala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
A Chinese farm known as Happy Brothers, allegedly accused of selling rotten chicken to women across Lusaka, has denied audience with Camnet TV. Blessings Chakwila was at the farm with the aim of getting the farm's management side concerning the issue when the owner refused to be interviewed, stating that he was busy. Meanwhile, women who have been ordering chicken from this farm are demanding compensation, accusing Happy Brothers Farm of using them as an accessory to destroy people's health. Details in this report.
Kona kovene bapan. Huh? Babosi bapan.
Sunday 23rd January 2022, Camnet TV aired a story of 5 Chinese poultry farms who are allegedly selling rotten chickens to women across Lusaka. One of them was allegedly identified as Happy Brothers. The 5 were found abrogating the Public Health Act that states that chickens that die on their own are supposed to be disposed of by legally silenced entity. Today, Camnet caught up with some women who've been buying rotten chicken from the 5 Chinese poultry farms and are seeking compensation. Those interviewed by Camnet News say they feel cheated and misled.
Chinese side. So my can't take my dog, kind of taking the side. Oh, some pay them Chinese in Benanati Fisher. At cutting a meow and Janaka but then in Drama, covered it to a cup wing. That's not to me a phone or cancel it now, or cancel it so even the Kupasan cancel what I can have.
This reporter took a step further, seeking audience with one of the allegedly 5 farms called Happy Brothers, who denied an interview.
No, I don't have time, and you want next time.
Sorry? You don't even want to hear what I want to say.
I'm busy. I'm no time.
You're busy. Like you don't want to hear why I have come.
You're dangerous. This talk, you know me, sir?
They're dangerous.
This reporter is still following up this story. Blessings Chakwila, Camnet News, Lusaka.
We will follow the story until it reaches its logical conclusion. In other news, the civil society organization Date Alliance has reminded the New Dawn administration to make known its position on the economic recovery plan made by the Patriotic Front administration. Alliance chairperson Father Alex Muyeve states that the economic recovery plan had clear, measurable plans on debt management as well as priority economic reform areas. Father Muyeve says there is need for government to promptly disclose the economic policy document that is being used to engage the G20 and the International Monetary Fund concerning debt management. Father Muyeve says the alliance remains concerned over the extent of Zambia's debt portfolio and its debt service levels, as evidenced in the 2022 national budget, where the international protocols around social sector spending remain breached due to high debt servicing. He was speaking at a media briefing on Zambia's debt management as government implements the 2022 national budget. The University of Zambia Professional Staff Union has bemoaned what they term as government's hesitancy to release a 50 million kwacha for payout of gratuities owed to the university workers. UNZA Pro President Michael Kaluba has told the media at a press briefing held at UNZA that the 10th November 2021, government through the Ministry of Education assured the union that it was going to release a sum of 50 million kwacha to settle the outstanding gratuities following a protest staged by workers on the 5th of November 2021. The union has since demanded that government should settle the gratuities for workers before the commencement of the 2022 academic year in order to avoid industrial unrest. Details in this report.
On Monday, January 24, 2022, the University of Zambia Professional Staff Union, UNZA PROSO, held a press briefing where it raised a number of pertinent issues as regards to its working environment at the institution. During a press briefing, the union expressed with concern the hesitance of government to release the 50 million kwacha for payment of gratuities owed to the university workers. UNZA PROSO President Michael Kaluba has told the media, saying on 10th November 2021, government through the Minister of Education assured the union that it was going to release the said amount to settle the outstanding gratuities following the protest staged by the workers on 5th November 2021.
Following. 1. Payment of gratuities without prepayment conditions which were set by UNZA management. Then 2. Resumption of negotiations for improved conditions of service for 2021. Now we've been added 2021 to 2022. 3. Release of the 50 million for payment of gratuities promised by the government to UNZA. Members of the press, please note that UNZA PROSU members, like in any employer and employee relationship, supplied their labor to UNZA as far back as 2013, and they expected to be paid, but they have not been paid their respective gratuities to date.
Meanwhile, Mr. Kalbaz also observed that the merging of the general education and the higher education into one ministry has overshadowed the higher education sector.
To share with you our views on the merger of Minister of General Education and the Minister of Higher Education. As stakeholders, we have observed that the merging of general and higher education into one ministry has overshadowed the higher education sector. As we have observed that primary and secondary schools are receiving more attention from the ministry than universities. As a union, we feel not much has been done to the higher education sector, which has, in the end, to absorb the expected higher number of entrants from secondary schools as a result of the free education.
The union has since demanded that government should settle the gratuities for the workers before the commencement of the 2022 academic year in order to avoid the industrial unrest. Alex Shimba, Camnet News, in Lusaka.
Police in Lusaka have questioned former Patriotic Front Secretary General Davis MWILA in connection with 3 vehicles that were used for campaigns in Northern Province. Police spokesperson Ray Hamonga says Mr. MWILA was being questioned in connection with stolen state property. And speaking to journalists shortly after being interrogated, Mr. MWILA's lawyer, Kambwa Aongola, said his team has not been availed with full details of the complaint and the offense that his client has committed. And PF member Chimba Kambwili says it is unfortunate that the police had to question Mr. MWILA over a source of vehicle which the PF used during campaigns.
Monday, 24th January 2022, police in Lusaka summoned the former Patriotic Front Secretary General Davis MWILA to appear before the Charleston police station for questioning. And speaking shortly after about 2 hours of interrogation, lawyer to Mr. MWILA Kambwa Aongola informed the media that his client was being questioned in connection with 3 vehicles that were used for campaigns prior to the 12th August 2021 general elections in Northern Province.
Pertaining to some campaign vehicles. So they have not given us the benefit of appreciating the essential object of the investigation, and that is in terms of the complainant and most importantly what offense might have been committed. So we ended at giving his side of the story regarding what he knows about the party's campaign vehicles. Mr.
Aongola adds that police termed the investigation as ongoing and that they are likely to get back to his client.
The intimation is that they're likely to get back to us because they term this as an ongoing investigation. That's why it could be indefinite. We don't know how far they want to go. But basically they're talking about vehicles, nothing spectacular.
Did you mention Northern Province?
Yes, they talked about Northern Province.
NPF member Chishimba Kambwili has wondered why the police could question someone on campaign vehicles when several people donate cars to political parties, including those in the opposition.
And it is very, very surprising, actually. We start talking about campaign vehicles. Campaign vehicles in all the campaigns from calendar days. Sometimes we wish I would just come. Even the opposition are given vehicles, even UPND. They use so many vehicles that they were using. Are they going to follow everybody who donated a vehicle to UPND?
It's undemocratic, as it has been said. We don't have a law in this country that compels political parties to declare their source of funding or indeed to declare where they got their properties.
And police spokesperson Ray Hamonga has confirmed the questioning of Mr. Chama.
We called him regards to investigations on the of stolen state property. It's in the course of investigations that we called him to help us with investigations.
Law enforcement agencies have in the last 4 months called upon several former ruling PF members for questioning on various offences ranging from suspected corruption, defamation and other offences. The citizens, however, wait to see the results of the questioning. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
7 opposition political parties in Zambia have teamed up, reminding the United Party for National Development Administration of the campaign promises they made to the Zambian people. The government's critics, among several issues, allege that the UPND's failure to uphold the rule of law, ending cadreism, reducing the high cost of living, and respecting media freedoms. Addressing the media Monday, People's Alliance for Change President Anford Banda has demanded that President Hakainde Hichilema take action against Gilbert Liswaniso for allegedly threatening violence. However, the 7 political parties, which included Democratic Party's Harry Kalaba, NDC's Savoy MWILA, New Heritage Party's Chishala Kateka, among others, say the Monday briefing address what does not imply that they are in an alliance, but collectively speaking out on national issues.
Monday, 24th January 2022, 7 opposition political parties teamed up to form a formidable force through a collective press conference to voice out issues of common interest. Among several issues, they cited alleged failure to uphold the rule of law, ending cadreism, reducing the high cost of living, respecting media freedoms, and the need for President Hakainde Hichilema to fire Home Affairs and Internal Security Permanent Secretary Administration Joseph Akafumba and Special Assistant to the President for Politics Levi Ngoma over an alleged leaked audio conversation surrounding the Democratic Party wrangles.
The UPND are so complacent. Hence the reason why they are talking about there's no opposition. We would like to challenge President Hakainde Hichilema to take action for starters with his youth chairperson Gilbert Liswaniso, following the video that has surfaced where he clearly indicated that he was going to take the law into his own hands. We would like to challenge President Hakainde to show us that he means well and he is different from the past by making sure that those indisciplined party cadres are disciplined, especially when we see a video of a leader of the ruling party threatening violence against the opposition.
Democratic Party leader Harry Kalaba underscored the need for impartiality in the fight against corruption.
That the fight against corruption is only concentrated on these people who just left power recently, the former regime, and that they appear to have no appetite, the current regime, to fight corruption in their own administration. Because we heard the other day the president was saying that people are learning how to, there's a clip, learning and teaching them how to fight corruption, and for you to wake up in the morning to go and be part of that class, it means that you are willing. So don't tell us about that story. And I think when we say they don't have appetite to fight corruption in their own administration, I think a case in point is the fertilizer scandal.
Kasonde Mwenda, the president for the Economic Freedom Fighters, implores the government to be consultative on governance matters.
We strongly feel some of the things the UPND has not been sincere. We've seen what has happened in Delhi. It has been placed under care and maintenance. And what we are having a speculation that is en route to being sold We know President Hakainde Hichilema has got a past of serious appetite for privatization. But you should know that this time is not a private individual who operates at his own personal whims. This is a country to which all of us have a stake, and we will not allow him to bring this second privatization to this country.
New Heritage Party President Chishala Kateka is concerned over the delay by President HH to move to State House.
This issue may not seem serious, however, it presents a unique risk of institutionalized corruption and state capture, because now meetings that should be held in state institutions are being held in personal houses, and it ought not to be so. We need to take this very, very seriously.
Also in attendance included Patriots for Economic Progress President Sean Tembo, National Democratic Congress leader Savoy MWILA, and United for Better Zambia's Hector Sondo. Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
Meanwhile, the UPND alliance has implored opposition political parties to continue offering checks and balances in a way that will make them relevant to the aspirations of the Zambian people. Alliance spokesperson Daniel Shimonza has encouraged opposition political parties to partner with the government in delivering development to the Zambian people instead of what he terms as mere rhetoric and cheap talk. Dr. Shimonza says it is not true that the UPND has diverted from their promises of a complete transformation agenda. He says President Hakainde Hichilema has assured that all those involved or suspected to be involved in financial and economic crimes will be brought to book and in a lawful way made to account for their misdeeds. He adds that the alliance is shocked at government's critics who have started downplaying the New Dawn's fight against graft. Dr. Shimonza has reaffirmed that no stone will be left unturned in claiming what has been stolen from the Zambian people. You're watching Camnet News. We take our first set of commercials. When we return, we have more interesting stories. Stay with us.
Tonight, the 24th January 2022 on National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chiluba as he hosts Honorable Xavier Chimba, the UPP President.
And anyone, whoever thinks that no is the Alpha and Omega, now here it's me. There's the one above. You can't aggregate him. You can't disaggregate him. There's God above.
At exactly 20:45 hours, as they discuss various national matters.
Invite others to participate through phoning on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp, and text messages. Make a date with us. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Deborah, have you connected to the Wi-Fi on the bus? It's fast, it's amazing. I've just downloaded my books and I'm about to complete the series. It's nice, too.
No, I'm actually watching a reality show. He's about to propose. Oh, so sweet.
Make your trip seem short yet comfortable and safe when you use the UBZ luxurious fully air-conditioned coaches that come fitted with amazing onboard entertainment, passenger information services, coffee-making facilities and fridge for your hot and cold beverages, free uninterrupted Wi-Fi for your gadgets, phone charging facilities, comfortable seats that recline to offer extra resting posture, safety seat belts, adjustable reading lights for each traveling client, and of course, clean flushing toilets for your convenience. So travel in luxury and safety with UBZ luxurious coaches. UBZ will always take you there.
Team, the trajectory of the business looks very positive, and it looks like we'll be able to launch the ministry.
There's so much data.
Mom.
Yes, baby.
It says here, global warming and climate change is caused by the pollution from careless activities of human beings.
Wow!
Son, do you know I can turn my phone into a TV remote?
How's that possible?
It's so easy. Check this out.
Be smart, be fast with mega data from Zamtel. Get your 15 GB mobile data for only 100 kwacha. 30 GB mobile data for only 200 kwacha and your 70 GB LTE data bundle with free Netflix, YouTube, Facebook and WhatsApp. Visit our Facebook page, website or service centers countrywide for more information. Zamtel, your digital lifestyle partner.
From 31st January to 6 February 2022, Zambia's spiritual atmosphere will take a paradigm shift. The Bible says, "Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord."
Zambia, a nation under God conference
will be starting at 20:45 hours
to 22:30 hours.
Live on Camnet TV channel 274 on DSTV, GoTV channel 98 and Topstar channel 106.
Speakers will be
Bishop Stanley Simnyola, Grace Ministries,
Dr. Nervous Mumba, Victory Ministries,
Apostle Michael Mutemwa from South Africa,
Bishop Nelly Chikwanda, New Life Christian Center,
Apostle Rick Kamwanga, Risen Life Church International,
Bishop Joy Makando, Bread of Life,
Bishop Alex Mwami of Holy Ghost Firehouse from South Africa, and your hosts, Pastors Victoria and Moses Chilua.
Camnet Television,
not just another channel.
You're still watching Camnet News. Thank you for staying on. The Zambia National Union of Teachers, NUT General Secretary Newman Wubala says government should ensure that COVID-19 prevention measures are in place across all schools following the reopening on the 24th of January 2022. Manual Professional Teachers Union of Zambia General Secretary Kangwa Musanga says a survey by teacher unions has revealed that while most schools have been fumigated, others have not due to slow delivery of COVID-19 mitigation funds to those schools. A check by Camnet News around some schools in Lusaka revealed that most pupils were masked up while social distancing seemed to be a challenge in others due to overcrowding.
Attending a quality education world over has been a challenge since the outbreak of the coronavirus, as schools have seen their fair share of closures due to the same. Following consultations from stakeholders in the education sector, it was decided that Zambia should endeavor to normalize the education calendar as the closures were causing a regression to achievements made. After announcing the reopening of schools on 10th January 2022, the reopening date was moved to 24th January 2022 to allow for coronavirus mitigation measures such as fumigation of schools. With schools officially open Monday, General Secretary of the Zambia National Union of Teachers, ZANUT, Mr. Newman Wubala, says the union expects COVID-19 response measures to be readily available in schools. He also says there is need for more sensitization on COVID-19 vaccination to see more pupils vaccinated.
Our real desire is to see a situation where the Minister of Education and the Minister of Health work together to make sure that the environment in which our children are learning is equal to the task of 5 golden rules, and also having a situation where if there's any challenge, they can easily advise so that our children can learn in an environment which is conducive. In case there is any case of a COVID case, let us not alarm the situation. Let us make sure we bring experts. And I think this also entails that we should be closer, very closer to the medical people, so that if there is any sign of that, the medical people should be closer and advise accordingly. You know, we are dealing with the children here, that any small alarm might cause a lot of confusion. We don't want to see that.
Meanwhile, Professional Teachers Union of Zambia Protus General Secretary Mr. Kangwa Msenga says fumigation in some public schools has not yet taken place due to the slow delivery of coronavirus mitigation funds.
We have seen teachers are ready to begin the term despite a few hitches in some schools. During this period of COVID-19, some schools are not yet fumigated because the funding is coming in slowly. In the first place, we are thankful that the government has released money to all schools in the country, although certain schools are not yet received, which has slowed down maybe the fumigation part. But basically, all the teachers are ready in the country.
A check at some public schools in Lusaka, while finding social distancing to be a challenge due to overcrowding, found most pupils wearing masks.
Here, guys, we are masking up.
will they allow social distance?
Here, every student here or every pupil, they're all following the COVID-19 golden rules. We are maxing up, we are sanitizing, we are maintaining social distance. Yeah, we are doing all the necessary things which we can in order for us to stay safe.
We are happy that their schools have been open and we are following the golden rules for coronavirus. Our classes, they are well ventilated. Thank you, God.
Stakeholders are monitoring to see the performance of the education sector amidst COVID-19. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
The Constitutional Court has dismissed the application in which United Party for National Development Chawama losing candidate Potfat Tembo was seeking an order for leave to file out of time his appeal challenging the decision by the High Court to declare Tasila Lungu the duly elected candidate. Constitutional Court Judge Judy Mulongoti, says in her ruling that the applicant took the wrong approach by applying for leave in the High Court, and by the time the application was heard, he had run out of time. Mr. Tembo was seeking leave in order for the court to allow him to file his appeal against the High Court judgment after the stipulated time.
Not satisfied with the High Court ruling, United Party for National Development losing Chawama candidate Potfat Tembo rushed to the Constitutional Court to seek an order for leave to file his notice of appeal and memorandum of appeal out of time. The Constitutional Court has, however, dismissed this application. UPND losing Chawama constituency candidate Potfat Tembo wanted to appeal the 19th of November 2021 Lusaka High Court judgment that certified, or rather ruled, that Tasila Lungu was duly elected Member of Parliament for Chawama constituency. By virtue of filing this application, Mr. Tembo wanted the court to accept his appeal filed after deadline in which appeals were to be filed in had elapsed. According to the Constitution, an applicant is expected to file a notice of appeal within 30 days of the High Court judgment. However, this was not so, as Mr. Tembo, instead of filing his appeal before the Constitutional Court, he had sought leave from the High Court. In ruling to the application, the court says Mr. Tembo took a wrong approach by applying for leave in the High Court, and by the time his application was heard, he had run out of time. The court has since refused to exercise its discretion in favor of the applicant to allow him to file his notice of appeal out of time. Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Still in court, the Lusaka Magistrate Court has committed a 51-year-old man of Lusaka's 10 Miles area to the High Court for sentencing after he was found guilty of defiling his 13-year-old stepdaughter. This is in a case in which Stephen Perry is charged with defilement. It was alleged that on October 20th, 2021, Perry defiled a child under the age of 16. The accused had denied the charge but later admitted committing the offense during trial before Lusaka Senior Resident Magistrate Felix Kauma. Miriam Kaimba once again filed this report.
A 51-year-old man of Lusaka's 9 Miles area is likely to face not less than 15 years imprisonment after he admitted defiling his 13-year-old stepdaughter. Stephen Perry, who is slapped with 1 count of defilement contrary to the laws of Zambia, has been committed to the Lusaka High Court by Lusaka Magistrate Felix Kauma for sentencing after he convicted him of the offense following his own admission. The offense that Mr. Perry is facing carries a minimum sentence of 15 years imprisonment for first offenders. According to facts before court, Mr. Perry is alleged to have, on the 20th of October 2021, took advantage of his 13-year-old stepdaughter by having carnal knowledge with her in his sitting room after his wife had gone to do some piecework. And the accused, who made his court appearance before Magistrate Felix Kauma, told court before he was committed to the High Court for sentencing that he did not know what entered into him to act in such manner by taking advantage of his own daughter. He is expected to appear before the Lusaka High Court soon for sentencing. Meanwhile, human rights advocates have continued to call out to government to apply stiffer punishment to anyone found committing such an offence.
As concerned citizens for justice and human rights, we are very much disappointed with the increase of cases of child development. Despite that, the government have come up with policies that are there to punish the culprits that commit such crimes. We are still receiving cases of child defilement day in, day out, and also these cases again with the draw of such cases before the police. Also, that is the cause of the increase of cases of sexual gender-based violence of the children against children. Therefore, we are still appealing to the government that they should come up with the law that can be stiffened to punish the offenders of child defilements.
Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Government has increased the number of beneficiaries of the Social Cash Transfer Program to 4,940 from 4,047 in Lusangazi District of Eastern Province. The Lusangazi District Commissioner Mike Tembo said this follows the inclusion of an additional 893 households to start benefiting from the program in Lusangazi District. The District Commissioner is grateful that the impact of the program is yielding positive results among the beneficiaries in the area.
Empirical evidence from the social cash transfer beneficiaries in Lusangazi District shows that there is an improvement in terms of food security, as most of the beneficiary households now own livestock such as cattle. Other beneficiaries have built better houses using the bi-monthly payments from the government.
Then kusunga tetu ekapake nitamnyamata tufunako ng'ombe yangu ichifwa etumkasisirije tiani na aliko abomo nitandiza ndrama nikasirije so niembekeza kama kuti ndrama nikarandira sola nikarandira ni fyante ndi nikazanda soti kakula nimuite mwine wa ng'ombe azatatiani azatole neyo ngupesa ng'ombe kunetera
na mangamo nyumba mu masauka na istamo na gulama geje na gulama ng'ombe basi nyumba ngani so ntokoza program sa lekera bana bapitirire so ntokoza boma yutandiza ndalama ni je mutandizika so apa ndama pamwandi pasa palomba ba shoti ngumuitikira ni ndipo mswapili.
The good news is that over 800 additional beneficiaries have been added to the social cash transfer roll in Lusangazi.
The thing that I've learned is that our people are very good financial managers. In spite of them getting what would call a little amount, they are really putting it to good use. You've seen a lady there, she bought a what? A cow which has started producing. We went to another gentleman's place, we saw the same. There are so many positive developments coming through this money that is being given to our people. Our earnest appeal would just be the same, to say may this continue. And I also want to thank government for even increase the allocation in the next for this year. There is that increment here. It will really go a long way.
The district social welfare officer is grateful to government for the continued support.
As a department, we are very grateful to the government for the support which they have continued to render to us. You can see that as a department, we've received 1,329,900 kwacha for the payments of November, December 2021 bi-monthly. And also on top of that, the district has also received monies for 600 girls who are benefiting from the program of keeping girls in school. The total amount is 151,200 kwacha. So all this really shows that the government is really concerned about the people, and we are very grateful.
The success stories being recorded from the beneficiaries of the social cash transfer funds in Lusangazi is evidence enough that the program is indeed assisting in reducing extreme poverty at household level. Naomi Mwimba for Zanis in Lusangaze.
Well, this is Camnet News. We take a second break, and when we return, we look at international and sports news. Stay with us.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
Deborah, have you connected to the Wi-Fi on the bus? It's fast, it's amazing. I've just downloaded my books and I'm about to complete the series. It's nice, too, me.
No, I'm actually watching a reality show. He's about to propose. Oh, so sweet.
Make your trip seem short yet comfortable and safe when you use the UBZ luxurious fully air-conditioned coaches that come fitted with amazing onboard entertainment, passenger information services, coffee-making facilities and fridge for your hot and cold beverages, free and interrupted Wi-Fi for your gadgets, phone charging facilities, comfortable seats that recline to offer extra resting posture, safety seat belts, adjustable reading lights for each traveling client, and of course, clean flushing toilets for your convenience. So travel in luxury and safety with UBZ luxurious coaches. UBZ will always take you there.
Tonight, the 24th January 2022 on National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chiluba as he hosts Honorable Xavier Chimba, the UPP President.
And anyone, whoever thinks that no is the Alpha and Omega, now it's me. There's the one above. You can't aggregate him, you can't disaggregate him. There's God above.
At exactly 20:45 hours, as they discuss various national matters.
Invite others to participate through phoning on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp and text messages. Make a date with us. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Camnet TV is becoming big and better. You can now watch Camnet TV wherever you are around the world, simply by downloading the Camnet TV app. With Camnet TV app, you only use less bundles. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome back. In news beyond borders, Burkina Faso's president, Chrétien Kabore, has been detained by mutinying soldiers, according to news reports citing security officials. The reports on Monday came a day after soldiers staged mutinies at several army barracks, prompting fears of a camp in a conflict-hit country. Later on Sunday, heavy gunfire was also heard near Kabore's residence in the capital, Ouagadougou. Several armed vehicles of the presidential fleet, riddled with bullets, could be seen near the residence on Monday morning. Here is a roundup of international news.
et des effectifs conséquents. Meilleure prise en charge des blessés en OSP et les familles des défunts. Faire des unités constituées permanentes au lieu de collecter des effectifs pour envoyer au front.
I think what the soldiers are saying is that they need some kind of leadership change. So they want the top brass of the Burkina Faso military to be changed. What they're saying is they need more military reinforcement, that is to deal with the jihadist movement. One of the things that the soldiers have complained about is the fact that in some circumstances, the so-called jihadist groups, the Islamic State of the Greater Sahel, they're more armed than the military.
On Monday, protesters gathered in Burkina Faso's capital, Ouagadougou. They rallied in support of the country's mutinous troops who arrested President Kabore just hours before. If the situation remained confused and tense in the city one day after soldiers at several army bases rebelled, reports mention protesters setting up makeshift roadblocks on several main streets before being dispersed by police. Hooded troops were posted in front of the national broadcaster RTV as the population awaited official reports. Jihadist insurgents swept through Burkina's northern provinces, destabilizing the country. Despite changes in the military top brass, a growing insecurity threatened civilians and NGOs. Several protests took place last year as demonstrators criticized the failure of President Kabore to quell jihadist violence, the latest of which was prohibited on Thursday. Around 1.5 million people are internally displaced, according to the National Emergency Agency.
Across the US, supermarkets are again experiencing supply shortages of such basic goods as milk, eggs and other household items. A wave of Omicron cases, global supply chain issues, labor shortages and extreme weather are being blamed for the lack of goods. Another contributing factor, the trucking industry. Some 70% of goods delivered in the US are by road. The main lobbying group for the trucking company says it needs an extra 80,000 new drivers to get goods where they need to be. And to help meet the demand for drivers, people as young as 18 could soon be allowed to drive trucks interstate after completing a federal apprenticeship program. 4 decades ago, in 1980, deregulation turned much of the trucking industry into what we now call the gig economy. Drivers are not paid for the time on the job, but for miles traveled.
They basically give the company that you're going to deliver to or pick up from, they give them 2 hours free to sit there and do whatever they need to do. The driver doesn't get paid.
Many truckers are classified as independent contractors, not employees, so companies don't pay for the upkeep of their trucks or invest in truck stops or warehouses. A trucker drives the allotted legal time and then stops wherever they are.
You get after 5, 6 o'clock, especially here on the East Coast, 5 o'clock, you might be on the side of the road somewhere trying to find a spot. There is a shortage.
There has been a steep decline in wages for truckers. Between 1977 and 1987, trucker compensation fell by some 35%. The average trucker salary is now around $50,000 a year. But there is another stark statistic. Trucking has an overall job turnover rate of between 74 and 92%. That is, between 7 and 9 out of 10 drivers leave their jobs after a year. We reached out to the American Truckers Association, but they declined to speak to us. But the US Census, in fact, shows a record number of qualified truck drivers in the US. That's why others say the problem lies elsewhere.
There is no shortage of truck drivers in the United States. In fact, we have a surplus of drivers. We have millions of people in the U.S. who've trained to become a truck driver and then decided not to do the job.
Dr. Vishelli says the trucking industry has used the same tactics since deregulation in 1980 to insist on further deregulation so that it can have as many workers to choose from as possible. That way it can offer the least wages and benefits while maximizing its profits.
Simply lowering the driving age is not going to make things better. It burns them out. Most people won't last 6 months.
Something we've heard throughout this supply chain crisis is that it's decades of deregulation that focused on corporate profits instead of building infrastructure like truck depots, for example, and taking care of workers that got us here. Shihab Ratansi, Al Jazeera, Maryland.
Well, that's it for international news. We go straight into sports news. Comoros goalkeeper Ali AHAMADA will not be able to play their Africa Cup of Nations last 16 tie against Cameroon despite testing negative to COVID-19. The Indian Ocean Icelanders are now set to play without a recognized goalkeeper. AHAMADA and midfielder Yassine Bahani, who also tested negative to the pandemic, was hoping to rejoin the Comoros squad for the game against Indomitable Lions, but CAF rules state a player who tests positive for coronavirus must isolate for 5 days before taking another PCR test 48 hours before he signs next March. Well, that's where we wrap it up our news this evening. The headlines once again. Former Patriotic Front Secretary General Davis MWILA probed in connection with stolen state property. Opposition political parties team up to scrutinize the UPND administration. Government urged to set a clear roadmap on economic recovery. In international news, Burkina Faso's president has been detained in an apparent military coup. And in sports, Comoros keeper Ali AHAMADA out of the last 16 tie despite negative COVID test. We now look at the Camnet verse of the day, and it's coming from Deuteronomy 6 verse 5 to 6, and it reads, Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength. These words that I am giving you today are to be in your heart. Well, thank you so much for choosing Camnet TV. My name is Sharon Kalimbola. Remember to observe the COVID-19 health guidelines and stop the spread of the virus. Good night.